Hello guys, welcome to all of you in Codetpoint. My name is Amit and today we are going to continue with Python learning series. In this tutorial, we are going to talk about some of the algorithms in data structure and we will see how we can use these sorting algorithms in our Python programming. Yes, these are the extensive topic of the data structures and in class we will talk in very details. But for today's agenda, we will see some of the algorithms based upon the data structures and we will apply those concepts into our Python programming. So the question is, what is data structure? So it is one of the way to store the data efficiently. It means that is if we have a data structures or if we have a different data types, and we will see what are the algorithms we are going to apply to use some sorting and operational task. Okay, so let's go into the OneNote. Okay, in this case, I can say that there are inbuilt data structures. For example, in Python, there is a list, tuple, set, dictionary, and string, right? These are the inbuilt data structures. Apart from that, we can create some customized data set like stack, queue, linked list, and tree. So let me write it down. In Python, inbuilt data structure. Correct? One is list, second is, let's say, tuple, third is set, fourth is dictionary, fifth is, let's say, string. Apart from that, there are other two more types, which is float and boolean. So let's say we have taken list, tuple, set, dictionary, and string. These are the inbuilt data structures. Apart from that, we can create some customized data structures like stack, queue, linked list, and tree. So let's go and talk at least the fundamental layer of these concepts. Stack works on LIFO principle. It means last in, first out. It means last in, first out. It works on LIFO principle. Sorry for that. LIFO principle. It means last in, first out. In Python, by using list, we can create stack. Okay. We will see one by one. Queue, it works as, or you can say it works on FIFO principle. Okay. It works on FIFO principle, which means first in, first out. So by using DQ submodule from collection models, we can use queue or we can create queue. Linked list is nothing but a collection of the nodes and each node is linked to their subsequent nodes. Okay. And last is tree. So we can say that it is a hierarchical structure of the nodes and each node contains the data and the structure of the tree is like parent tree or parent node and then there is a child node. So of course we will see in a very details in our data structure class, but the fundamental layer is what are the stack, queue, linked list, and tree, right? So let's take one example of list. let's say I have just created a list over here, and in this list, let's say I kept some homogeneous element 1 comma 4 comma 9 comma 6 comma 3 comma 12 comma 10 comma 20 comma 17. Okay, so this is homogeneous list, and if we have asked to sorted this list either into the ascending order or the descending order, so in that case what will happen, or what the logic we will going to apply to solve these problems? The sorting algorithms concepts come into the picture, and they can help us to do this task. There is a two very important factors when we are going to use some sorting algorithms. First factor is time complexity, and second factor is space complexity. These two are very important factor because it helps us to understand that if we are going to apply the time complexities, that means how much time it will takes to complete the executions, right? So let's say at this moment, this is a very small list, and if we increase the input size of this list, in that case, if we do the sorting of those lists, then how much time it will take to perform it? Of course, the input, it will depend upon the input size, right? Similarly, if we think about space complexity, it means that is if the input sizes keep increasing, then our resources is utilizing little larger, right? Resources means the memory space. Okay, so in data structure, time complexity notations can be written by big O notations. Is a big O notations followed by N. This is a measure time complexity. This is a factor to measure the time complexity. Okay, and this is a notations. And what is N? N is a size of the input, or you can say elements, or you can say it is number of the size of the input, which means the number of the elements. If we take the example of list, if we talk about tree, it is number of the nodes. Okay, so we can say that is the time complexity is very much dependent on the size of the input. Correct? For example, if you have to identify, let's say if we have to extract the one element from this list, in that case, doesn't matter the size of the list, it will take the constant time, right? It will take the constant time. If this is a way we can think about the time complexity. But let's say if you have to perform the iteration task, in that case it is dependent on the size of the input. And if we take one more further step, let's say iterations inside the iterations, that means loop inside the loop. In that case, so let's say my input size is n, and if we are going to perform nested loop, in that case we can say my time complexity will be quadratic. That means n into n, correct? Because this n for outer loop and this n for inner loop. Because so this is how we are going to talk about time complexities and space complexities. Okay guys, so let us talk about our agenda. In this case, I have taken a list and objective is we have to sorted this list. In that case, we are going to use one algorithm which is called bubble sort. So what is meaning of bubble sort? Bubble sort is, let me explain here. Let's say I'm going to take a list, say list. So let's say 1, 6, 3, 4, 9, 10. Okay. So let's say this is a list. So the bubble sort is what it is doing. It is going to compare with their adjacent values. Okay. It is going to compare with their adjacent values. So that means, let's say it is list O is going to compare means it is going to check that is this value is greater than this value or not. So let's say it is going to test for value at 0 indexing position to the next indexing positions, right? If it is true, then what is happening? It is going to swap the values. Okay. It is going to swap the values. That means list 1 will be placed as 0 indexing positions and list 0, that means the first value which is greater than the next values, it is going to place on the first indexing position and it is going to place on the 0 indexing positions. So the value is going to swap. This is the concept about the bubble sort. Okay. So example I have given over here, you can see example in this case. What it is going to do in the first case, it is going to compare with their adjacent values. After the adjacent values, it is going to compare. Then it is going to swap the positions. So 7 and 6, it is going to compare and swap the values. So 6 comes to the first indexing positions and 7 goes to next indexing position, right? And so for 7 and 4 and so for 4 and 3. In second case, again, it is going to compare with 6 and 4, 6 and 3 and so on. So it will be keep going on till our sorting process is continues, till the last element of the sorting process has been completed or done. So this is you can say concepts about the bubble sort. Let's go into the Jupyter notebook and start writing the code. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Jupyter notebook, and this time let's say I'm taking a list, because we have to understand how we are going to apply this sorting algorithm in Python. So let's say I have taken a list, and this time I have taken a list 1, 3, 5, 2, 7, 10, 8, 20, let's say 16, 50, 90, 45, 32, 100. Okay. So let's say this is my list. Okay. And we are going to use the bubble sort algorithms. So what we are going to use? First, we will compare with adjacent values and then we will swap the values, right? For that, what I'm going to write? I'm going to use loop, for I in range. In that case, what I'm going to take it? 0, length of this list, correct? And after that, what I'm going to do is, since it is my first iterator is going to travel on entire list, and then what I'm going to do is I need to pick the element from it and need to compare with the next element. For that, I need to take another loop, right? For j in range, we can say j in range 0, length since it will be not behave, it will be behave like a, it will be behave like a range functions. Of course, like we are using range functions. So the range function is not going to touch the last element. It is going to stop at one previous element. So in this case, 0 comma length of this list minus 1. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to check if list 1 and the value at j is greater than list, we can say j plus 1, correct? Then what we are going to do is, if it is this case, then what we are going to do is list 1 at, or you can say the value at jth indexing positions, comma, list as j plus 1 indexing positions to be exchanged with list 1 with j plus 1, and this value is getting exchanged with j, right? Sorry for that. I have taken the capital. It should be small one. Okay. And now we are going to print this list. So this is a solution, guys. So let's execute this piece of the code and see what we are getting. List is not defined. Okay. Sorry for that. Okay. Okay. So this is a solution, guys. This is a solutions. We can say that our list has been sorted out. Correct? So we can understand if we have a given list or any data structure, in that case, we are going to apply the sorting algorithm. The sorting algorithm which is we are going to apply is bubble sort, and bubble sort is comparing the element with adjacent element and then swap the values. So the similar logic we have written over here and it works fine for us. So I hope you have understand this part of the program. If you have any queries, feel free to write your queries and I will try to respond to you guys. So guys, we have a paid training as well as for data science, machine learning, Python, and visualizations tool like Power BI and Tableaus. So if you'd like to go for paid trainings, please fill up the form given below and our team will be contact you. So thank you guys. Thank you once again.